Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Scotty's Garage. Now we've got something a little bit different this time, right? So no 13s for 1300 Falcon. You can see it there sitting in the background, but we're going to leave that alone for the time being. Now we've got this old Valiant station wagon, and I'm going to do a little work with this. And a few of you have asked about this car in the past. You've seen little snippets of it in the background, and a few people said, so, what's happening with the Valiant? Right, so we're finally going to do something with it, and you should find it pretty interesting, I reckon. So, a little bit of history on this car. Now, I bought this car about 10 years ago, and it was just a white shitbox, paid $250 for it, had some panel damage and that sort of thing. It wasn't a real pretty car, but we put a 440 big block in it, give it a hit of white, and a 8 3/4 rear end, a few other things, and made it a bit of a sleeper. It was a lot of fun, that car. We'd go out hosing WRXs and that sort of thing. Those guys just didn't know what the hell hit them. So good fun car, but the motor was actually a mate of mine. So he took that motor back, and I sold him a Charger, and he put the motor in the Charger, made a pretty cool car out of it. So I was left with a wagon with no motor in it. So about 5 years ago, I dragged it out of the shed again and painted it orange and give it the Pacer stripes. Alright, it's a bit subtle, you might not see it on the video, but yeah, red Pacer stripes on the Hemi orange, looks pretty cool. And I put a Turbo 6 in it, alright, so straight 6, Hemi 6, alright, not the slant, Hemi 6, and turbocharged it, and that was, a bit of fun. Made 250 horsepower at the rear wheels, so it was alright. But just nowhere near as fun as the big block, and it used to get hot a lot, so it was a little bit disappointing from that regard. So I let the rego expire on it again, and it's been sitting in the shed ever since. So I finally decided to do something with it again, and with Chryslers on the Murray coming up, then Chryslers on the Murray is Australia's biggest Chrysler show, right? You get 700 entries to this show, 700 Mopars in one spot. It's a pretty big deal. So I want to get this ready and another car ready. I'll show you the other car later. But I want to get this one ready so my wife can take my kids and that sort of thing to the show and have a bit of fun, cruise around. So I don't want it too, raunchy, don't want it too loud, don't want it to, pop and fart and get, too hot or anything like that. Just want a nice, cool cruiser. It sounds okay, but just can cruise around without getting hot or anything. Okay, so it doesn't need a lot. The paint's a bit faded, so we'll give it a bit of a polish. What else do we need to do? There's a few things I've got to do with the engine, because the oil seals on the valves are all leaking, so it goes for a bit of oil. So I'm going to change the head. I'm going to put a standard style carby on it rather than the 4-barrel that's on it now, and just change a few things around just to make it a little bit more comfortable for my wife to drive. And of course we need to get it re-registered as well, which isn't, a very quick and easy process here in Australia. You've got to go through a few different hoops. Alright, now the car itself is a 1970 VG Valiant wagon. Now it's a body style that in the States you probably wouldn't be familiar with, or you'd have a little bit of familiarity with it, alright? It's based off the 67 to 72 Dodge Dart floor pan, okay? Alright, so A-body, basically, it's an A-body Mopar, but a station wagon, which they didn't have in the States. It was an Australian only thing. Alright, so they're a little bit longer in the front end. The Dodge Dart would normally come to about there. They've extended the chassis rails a little bit for this longer front, and they've given it a bit of different front end treatment. And obviously the wagon styling, is just something that Americans and anyone overseas is probably unfamiliar with this type of A-body platform. So we're going to have a bit of fun with this, and it shouldn't be too hard within the 2-week scope that we've got, but we should be able to do a few updates in that time, and I reckon it'll be pretty interesting to watch. So come along as we rejuvenate this old girl.